Welcome to The Tech Ranch, live and local here on Super Talk 1270. The latest gadgets, online security, websites and apps, social media, and so much more. How can technology help you? Let's find out. It's time for The Tech Ranch on Super Talk 1270.
From our studios in beautiful Mandan, North Dakota, along the mighty Missouri River, here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
Today is App Wars with singer-songwriter turned movie location scout Anna Vance.
All right.
She's smiling already about that, yeah. We'll also be visiting with Melissa Jakubovic, I believe is how you pronounce her last name, with Melissa Marketing about Facebook marketing, so all kinds of marketing in there. At the control panel, producer extraordinaire Jim Walsh.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
You've been on the road, dude.
It's been it's been an interesting summer so far.
Last week you were on the left coast.
I was on the left
coast.
You
were in Los Angeles.
Yep.
Where else were you?
And Nevada, basically.
Yeah.
Vegas and
Vegas,
yeah,
baby.
Yeah.
Right to Las Vegas.
So yeah, have you ever driven that stretch from Vegas to?
No, the closest I ever lived was when I was in Texas, but we never got out there. We were about 10 hours from Las Vegas.
Well, it's funny because so is Las Vegas to L.A. It's like 10 hours too. It should only be 4.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's only 260 miles. So for us around here in North Dakota, I mean, you know, it's a 2.5 hour trip to Fargo from here, right? And it's 200 miles. So I just assume that you can drive 260 miles in 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah, you look at the map and you think, well, as a crow flies, about 4 hours.
Yeah,
but if you're not a crow flying,
it's not the case. I've never been. I won't say never as frustrated, but it was a frustrating experience driving back and forth.
Whoa.
Because of, I mean, you stopped in the middle of the desert 100 miles from nowhere, and you're stopped. You just sit there and wait for the traffic to start moving again.
Yeah.
That's just, to me, is just unbelievable. But,
well, I know people out there, and they talk about, driving to work at 4 in the morning.
Sure.
And sitting in traffic at 4 in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, it just is amazing to me. It's a different lifestyle. And
it is.
I know there are people that listen to us from out there, and we're not making, bad comments about it. I just don't understand how people live that lifestyle. So.
Well, I can kind of understand it because I'm a former New Yorker. I lived in Long Island, came to know and love the city passionately. And I know how the traffic can be in and out of New York, on the George Washington Bridge any given time of day.
Right.
And you can ask the mayor of the governor of New Jersey about that.
Sure.
But I came to appreciate. I came to greatly appreciate what a lot of people see in the lifestyle of a place like New York, and I'm sure LA's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, absolutely. And there's some wonderful attributes to that area. I mean, it's beautiful, of course, and people want to be on the coast and all that good stuff. But anyway, welcome, Anna.
Thank you.
It's exciting to have you here.
Thank you. I'm loving it.
Yes,
so this is your first time to North Dakota?
It is, technically, yeah.
What is your take on our wonderful area so far?
I just like to get here and feel the cooler temperature. Of course, in Las Vegas, it's about 110, but it feels like 120. And so this is very green and cool and reminds me a lot of Minnesota, which is another place I've lived and loved. And I'm happy to get the local flavor. It's been fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you get to spend a week around here. Yeah. You're scouting for a movie, which is kind of fun.
Ooh.
I'm just saying. I think it's kind of a fun project. There's no doubt about it. So
Very much so.
Excited to have you here.
Thank you.
So of course we're going to get into App Wars with you.
Oh boy.
App Wars, nothing but line. Go back to sleep, geezer. Just curl up.
Thanks, geezer, for that. So yeah, we App Wars is all about basically one-upping each other with the different apps that we have. So today I am actually kind of prepared. I have my list here, Anna, and I see you have my list as well. So I'm just, so you'll be able to get prepared to one-up me on all these different things. But
thanks for the 30-second notice.
Oh, absolutely, because that's how this show works. But I want to talk a little bit about public Wi-Fi. And this is actually my first app. We're going to talk about an app called ExpressVPN or TurboVPN. So VPN is virtual private network. You don't need to know all this crazy stuff with all of it, but just know that when you're in a public Wi-Fi scenario, don't go into your bank. Don't use passwords, because the thing is, it's like Wi-Fi is a radio, and it's no different than you listening to our broadcast right now on a radio station. everybody else could tune into this as well and hear it, right? So when you're in a public Wi-Fi area, if people have, so there's software called sniffers, and you can put a sniffer on your computer, and you can sit in the parking lot of a coffee shop or a library or whatever, and or in the coffee shop. I mean, who knows? You got 50 people in the coffee shop on their computers, right? You don't know who's actually listening to what you're typing. So, Jim.
The way I like to think of it is, if you wouldn't call a radio station and give out the information over the air, then don't do it when you're on the Wi-Fi.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, if you wouldn't call the station and give out your social security number or password to whatever, it's the same exact thing, really.
Don't do it on public Wi-Fi. So if you're going to do that type of thing, then you need to protect yourself a little bit. And that's where like a Turbo VPN or Express VPN, and these are apps that you put on your computer or on your phone or whatever. So when you're on public Wi-Fi, it encrypts the data that's being sent across. So if somebody were to intercept that, they wouldn't know what to do with it anyway. So that's what you need to do. My trick is that I just turn on my Wi-Fi hotspot on my phone because that's encrypted already, right? So then you just, if you need to do some banking or something on the road, you just do that. So I was in Vegas a year ago at CES, and there was this gentleman. I was about ready to hop online, and I was in the press room. And I was about ready to hop online. This guy next to me was like, "You're not going on the public Wi-Fi, are you?" And I'm like, No. I mean, I have some stuff I need to do. And he goes, "Watch this." And he had one of these sniffer programs on there. And there's thousands of people are on public Wi-Fi, and they're in Vegas, and they're at a convention, right? The number one thing they're doing in their bank accounts.
Wow.
Yeah.
They were, because they're like, I wonder how much money I can get to go to the blackjack table next or whatever, right? It was insane that we were able to watch this stuff. And this program is something he just downloaded about an hour before this. Insane that people, so I'm just warning everybody that you need to have something in place because, this is probably everybody's concerned about viruses. Ever have a virus on your computer, by the way?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm a Mac user. So.
Oh, yeah. So you've never had a virus on a Mac. Huh? Interesting. Good for you.
Here we go. Let the app wars begin. I can feel it already.
I think our call's coming in, Marlo.
Okay. So we'll talk a little bit more about public Wi-Fi, but just please don't use public Wi-Fi straight up. It's okay to use it. Just don't use your passwords, those type of things.
Don't put anything on Wi-Fi you wouldn't put on the radio.
That's right.
On a show like this.
I love that analogy, Jim. That's fantastic, actually. Yeah. So maybe what we should do is let's go to our break.
Yeah, let's take a break.
And then when we come back, we'll have Melissa Jakubovic. I hope I'm saying her last name correct. She'll let us know over the break here, yes. And we'll be talking about Facebook marketing. Come on back, everybody.
Currently 83 degrees.
Dave Ramsey is heard here. Super Talk 1270.
Follow the Guru of Geek at Facebook.com/The Tech Ranch or Twitter at Guru of Geek or TheTechRanch.com. Here again is your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And welcome back, everybody. We want to thank all the people who follow us around the country, across the country, and around the world. I always mix that up. But we're on the Blueberry Network, we're on the Tech Podcast Network, we're on the Roku, we're on iTunes, we're on Tuned In, and of course our own app, Radio Pup. All kinds of places you can catch us live. Or, of course, if you hear something and you're traveling right now and you want to catch up with us later, please don't like write it down or something while you're driving. Just listen to the show again later on. We're okay with that. Yeah. So joining us is Melissa Jakubovic. I think I did it right.
You did it right.
All right, yes.
All right.
Well, she's right here.
I know. But Melissa is a Facebook marketing expert, and I was just reading over her bio. She's a single mother of 2 boys, and let's see. She's a professional folk dancer and instructor as well. So, Anna, you two are just going to have a conversation that's not going to end here, I think. And she loves to read self-help books and fiction novels, and kind of got into Facebook marketing because her friends started asking her about it in the past, and is basically self-taught and learned all the ins and outs of Facebook marketing, which I love. So welcome to the show, Melissa.
Thank you so much. It's great being here.
So we're going to get right into this here. Tell us about your folk singing.
Folk dancing.
Folk dancing, that's right.
Folk
I'm sorry.
dancing.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm a folk dancer since I'm 7 years old. My mom's a folk dancer. My kids are folk dancers. It's just ingrained in my culture, and I love it.
That's incredible. I'm a folk singer, so we should collaborate on that. What are we doing on the tech
Oh,
show?
that's great.
I'm impressed.
Hey, everybody needs to use technology occasionally. I'm just saying.
Occasionally,
Yes.
that's true.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about how you got into Facebook marketing.
Well, I love Facebook, and I love social media, and I have several companies. I'm a self-proclaimed serial entrepreneur, and one of my online companies is health and life coaching. And I was doing that, and it did really well through Facebook ads, and eventually a bunch of my friends who are also entrepreneurs were asking me, wait, how'd you do that? How'd you do that? Can you do that for my business? So I said, maybe I can. Let me try it out. And then I just fell in love with it. And I just went from there. I took courses online. I've been playing around with it for a couple of years. And it's just really grown. And, Facebook is always changing. And so I'm always learning. But it's just amazing. I love it.
Wow, I have to say I'm impressed again, Melissa, because I think the market of personal development is pretty saturated. So if you've distinguished yourself in that way on Facebook, I give you credit, and I think it speaks to your drive to go back and educate yourself, because that's what you really need, is that edge. That's a highly competitive market. So I'm impressed again.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think being a student is a lifelong journey. You never stops learning. So,
agreed.
So, why do you feel that Facebook marketing is different than like buying AdWords or any other or SEO or anything along those lines that you could do online? I mean, is there a distinct difference between all of those?
Well, absolutely. I mean, Facebook is the most amazing way to advertise to your ideal client, because it's very specific, very targeted, and it's through story sharing your stories, storytelling. So basically, if you're on Twitter, you only have 140 characters to say what you have to do. And if you're on AdWords, it's just based on certain little keywords. But on Facebook, you can really connect to your ideal client or customer and really find a commonality so that they feel like they have to do business with you because you really share something. So Facebook is the best platform for that.
So let's say I'm a pottery person.
It's random.
Since I'm trying to pick something that I know absolutely nothing about here, right?
No.
And my target market is maybe seasoned citizens over 65 who are just kind of traveling across the country or whatever. I mean, is there a way for me to actually target that audience in Facebook?
Well, absolutely. When you go into the Power Editor or the Ads Manager, you are able to target people based on location, gender, age, their interests, and also who your competitors are. So if there's a pottery studio in your neighborhood that's your competitor, you could target everyone who likes that other pottery studio. And also, if you said they're over 65, you can do that too. You could say, I want to target only 65 and up women or men or people who are retired or people who have a certain amount of income. So you can get really, really specific on who you want to target. And it just goes from there. You go down this rabbit hole on Facebook where you start somewhere and you do research and you try and find out what are their interests, and you end up finding this whole other slew of interests that are related to that interest, and you can follow that, maybe the magazines that they're reading or things that they subscribe to, or even the groups and pages that they like on Facebook. So there's a lot of option there.
So if my goal is to increase my social media audience, can I use Facebook marketing for that as well?
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the best benefits of Facebook, is that you can target whoever you want to target. And say you want to build your business page, you could say, I want people who like my page to have these certain criteria, and then you can search just for those people with that criteria. And then you can even go deeper with lookalike audiences and say, I want to target people who are similar to the people who already like my stuff. And Facebook has great algorithms, and they're able to just say, okay, if person A liked your stuff and they also like these 10 things, then I'm going to find you somebody else who is very similar to that potential client and have them see your page too. And it's just amazing.
So if you're just joining us, everybody, this is Melissa Jakubovic. I'm going to butcher your name 20 more times, Melissa.
It's okay. Everyone does.
But you are the founder and CEO of Melissa Marketing. How do we find you online if we want to know more about what you do?
Well, obviously I have a Facebook page, so you can go to facebook.com/Melissa. That's Melissa without the A, marketing.com. And you can also visit me on my website at melissmarketing.com.
So if you have a sales funnel that you're trying to promote, is there a way you can do that through social media as well? And maybe before we get into that, a lot of people probably don't even know what a sales funnel is. Let's talk about that real quick before you go into the how you direct people there.
Sure. Well, a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs, they spend a lot of their time on the front end of their business. So they're sending out flyers, or they're hopefully doing some social media marketing and Facebook advertising, or they're going to networking events and trying to get people into their business. But that's all front end work. But the real moneymaker is the back end, and that's what a lot of businesses are missing out on, and that is your funnel strategy. So a sales funnel is basically different levels or different points where people can fall into this funnel. If you imagine the shape of a funnel, you start up at the top, it's very big. So you get, let's say, 1,000 people to see some offer that you're offering online, maybe a freebie or something like that. And then you'll offer something a little bit higher in value of price, maybe $7 or $17, and less people will opt into that. So that funnel gets smaller. And then the next level is a higher ticket item, and so less people will fall into that. But as people are falling into these more expensive products that you offer, these people are your most ideal clients. So by the end, your high ticket offer, your highest product that you offer, is going to be targeted to the people who already fell in love with you, have already gone through all the other levels, and just know that they must learn from you. They must have your product and your service as opposed to your competitors. So building out a sales funnel is the most important part of having a business, and also an online business. And then once your sales funnel is built, you can push people to it with Facebook ads, so that you'll send people to the top of your funnel. You'll get, let's say, 1,000 people, and then your next level of those 1,000 people, maybe 30% go to the next level. And of those people, the next level will have maybe 10% opt in, and then from there, maybe 1%. But that last small percentage is your ideal client, and they're the people who just love everything that you produce. They want everything that you have to buy, and they're your diehard fans and your best ideal client.
So let's go back to the pottery scenario for a second. So if you produce pottery, how would you build that sales funnel to move people, I mean, from a low freebie to a low end to a high end?
Well, I love playing with clay, but I'm not really 100% sure about the business. But if, let's say, someone who owned a pottery studio came to me, we would discuss what are the things that you're offering to your clients. So let's say they can offer a free class or a free checklist of what you need to be a pottery guru. So that would be a freebie that you could push people to with a Facebook ad. So you would target people who love pottery or have expressed interest in like art magazines or something like that, and they would get that freebie, that checklist of how to become this awesome potteryist. I don't know the word. Someone who makes pottery.
You're doing great. I didn't mean to throw get you a question here, but you're doing fantastic, Melissa. This is fantastic.
Well, thank you. So they have this checklist, okay? And so let's say, back to our example, 1,000 people download this checklist. Of those 1,000 people, maybe 30% are interested in the next level in the funnel, which could be something like, I don't know, a 3 video series on how to make sure your clay doesn't dry out, and I don't know, because I don't know pottery.
Sure.
So 30% download this video series, and you teach them how to do whatever you're trying to teach them, and then at the end of that, you send them to another product, which is higher. So of the 30%, maybe 15% will buy the next level, which will be, I don't know, a course or maybe something free that you can give away with an explanation, maybe a book or something like that. So maybe it's something that you have in your pottery studio and you try to sell in your store, but for the people who bought the video course, they'd get it at a discounted rate. And so maybe 15% would take this offer.
Well,
and
I hate to do this to you, Melissa. We have to cut
what?
you short here.
Okay.
Give us again your website.
So basically, that's how it is.
Okay. Give us your website again.
My website is Melissa Marketing, and I have top 5 Facebook tips that I've created. If anyone wants to download that at melissamarketing.com/tips, and those are where I start. If you're either new to Facebook ads or they're just not working for you the way that you'd hope.
Thanks, Melissa. It's been a pleasure. Come on back, everybody.
Currently 83 degrees.
The Red River Farm Network. Ag News is here on Super Talk 1270.
We're back to the Tech Ranch. Stream this program now at supertalk1270.com. Here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we just had a very interesting conversation with Melissa Jakubovic and with Melissa Marketing and about sales funnels and Facebook marketing. Did you take anything away from that?
Yeah, I took away a lot of, actually, I relate to her so much. I'm a mom. I have a lot of varied interests, and I don't tackle Facebook in the way that she has. So I'm truly inspired and I feel like I need to take a lot more control over that sales funnel that I'm missing out on.
I was just thinking the exact same thing myself. So yeah, it was very, very interesting.
Stuff. So. And I also thought maybe I should tune into your show now and again because the content is so incredibly helpful.
That's why we occasionally have guests on the show, Jim, because that's how we increase our audience one at a time, right? So now we might have 3 people that listen to us. I'm just saying, Jim, right?
Just saying. Good plan.
we're Anna Vance. She's a singer-songwriter turned movie location scout here in North Dakota right now, scouting a movie, as a matter of fact. And we're having our occasional edition of App Wars. I'm waiting for Jim to start. There we go.
Nothing but App Wars.
So App Wars is where we try to outdo one another on the different apps that we have on our phones, and maybe you can even throw in something that you don't have on that you think is kind of interesting or cool or whatever. So first up on my list is a weather app.
Oh, boy.
So what do you use for weather, Anna? And Jim, you can throw in here too, actually.
Okay.
So yeah, what do you have a weather app?
Well, let me turn my phone on.
Okay.
I'll see what I got.
So just so everybody knows, so Anna is iPhone. Mm-hmm. Jim, you're
I got a Droid.
Android, and so am I. So I'm Droid as well. So now it's 2 against 1. Right. So we'll see how. Yeah.
Oh boy,
very good, Jim. So
thank you.
So while everybody's keying up their stuff here, I will. So I use One Weather, and that's the number 1 then weather. And I just picked up a review on it. Arguably the best weather app out there. Well, of course they would say that. But you can get a forecast up to 12 weeks in advance with these guys. That's what I like about them. Mm-hmm. So if you're doing some far, if you're wondering what's going to happen during an event 2 months from now, it's not always the most accurate, of course, because weather changes rather dramatically all the time. But it's interesting to see long-range forecasts up to 12 weeks out. There's a decent set of customizable widgets, and of course you get standard stuff like severe weather notifications and a radar that you can see storms approaching on. So some cool stuff. But Anna, what do you use on do you use a weather app on your phone?
What's funny is that I lived in Minnesota for 5 years, and people would tell me every single day what the weather was going to be, and I said, all I need to know is that it's cold. I'll put a coat on and we'll call it that. People wanted to give me the minute-by-minute update of the temperature. So no, I would say that the weather app is the least used app on my phone, and I have to scramble to actually find it. I do travel occasionally, so I do have Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, San Diego, Los Angeles, and Lake Tahoe on here, and now lovely Mandan. But again, if I'm traveling, the only thing I might need to know is, do I need an umbrella? And I'm usually so adaptable that weather is not one of those things I use. But the iPhone, of course, has this lovely app, and so I can see the forecast today. And 89 is fantastic.
Yeah. So Jim, how about yourself? Do you have a weather app you use?
Well, there are several. I've got, for example, the Weather Channel weather app on there, weather.com.
Sure.
It's a very good one. The service that we use for the station is Weather Eye. I believe they have an app as well. And another one that's very big, not so much here on the East Coast. They have it here, though. It's AccuWeather.
Okay.
And they're all very good services.
Not so much on the East Coast, though. Are you forgetting where you're at today?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm saying it is big on the East Coast.
Sorry, you have
Gotcha.
Monday brain.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do this show Monday after Monday.
It's tough to do the show on Monday. So, all right, very good. So, storage now. Do you use anything on your iPhone to store your photos or documents or anything along those lines?
Well, you know, the good old apps that come with an iPhone. I mean, my check this out. Yeah, I've got like 3,000 photos on my phone at this moment.
Whoa!
Yeah, I know, that's crazy. I do tend to get the cloud coverage and pay for that extra, but don't really run out of room too much.
Okay, so you use an iCloud to handle your stuff.
Yep.
Okay, Jim, how about you?
Well, I've got the gallery that comes with my Droid, and I use that. I don't have that many things. If I start to fill up, I'll move things over to Facebook or to the cloud or whatever.
Okay.
So I've got it if I need it.
Okay, so I use Google Drive. And so I have my photos synced to my Drive account, and of course the thing I like about Google Drive is that you can access your documents. I actually kind of live in Google, so if I have a document I need to, if you and I are talking about something with the project we're working on, for example, I can open up that document on my phone. I could send it to you. So I like that, and of course the automatic backup of my photos is always appreciated as well. So when I get into a Wi-Fi area, it goes, all my photos that I've taken will then get uploaded to photos.google.com. And then I can just access those, and it doesn't cost anything for that service, which I like too. You know, they'll just take those and put those photos up there, and then they create cool little GIFs too if you want. So if you take a lot of photos of the last trip you've made, it creates this little mini movie of them and that type of thing.
That's
so
awesome.
it is pretty cool, actually.
I mean, I know we're on app wars, but am I allowed to agree with you? Because I think I live in Google too.
Well, and I believe that even on your iPhone you can put.
I do.
Yeah. So yeah, I always recommend people to get a Gmail account just strictly for the fact that you can have Google Drive. You get 15 gigs of storage on there, and you can store your photos and everything else in there. So it's a pretty cool thing.
Learning all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So I know, Anna, that you use Maps.
I do.
I mean, or your GPS function on your phone. So what is your preferred go-to for GPS?
Oh, definitely Google Maps.
Oh, okay.
Did I tell you my story about buying the new iPhone?
No.
I did. Oh, good grief, yeah. So I bought the latest version of the iPhone, the iPhone 7, and I'm accustomed to the app that came with the phone. However, I did take a road trip to San Diego where I was relying on that same technology, and that map took me to Tijuana at rush hour traffic, 5 lanes turning right, and I had quite a scene at the border.
You were trying to turn around where you couldn't turn around?
Well, yes, into oncoming traffic at rush hour.
Oh, my goodness.
And, I cursed that app, and I went right back to Google Maps, which is where I live now. Because,
very interesting.
Yeah, it's not a very good plug for the iPhone at the moment. But I will tell you that it scared me enough to stay away from that app.
Okay, Jim, how about you?
Are you going into Mexico? You are now.
Wow.
All thanks to a malfunction on a GPS unit or a GPS map.
Tears were shed there.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Lately, I've been using Google Maps when I need a map. Yahoo Maps is also okay. A lot of times when my wife and I are out, we'll just my wife will grab Yahoo Maps, and the only reason I use Yahoo at this point is it's the one I've always used. When I first got online back in the late 90s, Yahoo was the big one at the time. It was the coming one.
Right.
And it's still an okay service, in my opinion. And their map service is okay. I just think Google is a little more detailed. I think they have done a slightly better job in getting all the little cubby holes and side roads and neck of the wood places.
Well, I think they, and we've all seen the Google cars running around with the LiDAR on top. And, so they're out there updating their stuff all the time, whether it's Street View or just the navigation part, which I think is impressive with what they do. Do either of you use Waze? W-A-Z-E?
Nope.
I don't know.
It's kind of an add-on, and I think so. Waze, if you have Waze, you can report if there's a traffic slowdown or an accident or whatever. And I think Google Maps automatically uses some of the information coming into it, but when you have Waze added to your phone, it gives you even more information like that. So I've had some people tell me they don't like it. I've never used it myself.
They have it here for Bismarck?
You can use Waze anywhere.
Okay.
W-A-Z-E. It's kind of just an add-on, and it tells you some traffic scenarios. I think it'll tell you if there's some some speed traps that are out there and that type of thing too. So that's why some people don't like it.
This time of year with all the road construction going on,
Yes.
especially on the interstate, something like that can be a godsend.
Absolutely, and you're right, because the construction changes daily out here right now.
Hourly, from hour to hour,
Yeah.
it can be
That's
different.
right.
Yeah,
You only have
so-
two kinds of weather. You have winter and then construction
Bingo.
season, right?
Especially since you don't live here, that's amazing. You know that.
I lived in Minnesota. It's
yeah.
the same thing.
So Siri, you use Siri?
No.
You don't.
I don't like Siri.
So why don't you like Siri?
I just find it frustrating to try to figure out how to engage Siri. So I tend to just be a problem solver on my own.
So you don't use it for search or anything along those lines?
I might be an odd duck right now, but yep. It's occasionally. It's just so limited. I find it super annoying. If I
Okay.
if I can be honest.
That's okay. That's okay. So do you talk to your phone in any capacity right now outside of making a phone call?
No, voice to text occasionally.
Okay.
I just don't tend to. I tend to imagine myself a little more resourceful than Siri, believe it or not.
Okay.
I wouldn't go head to head with her, but I just find it frustrating to engage with Siri.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just exposing myself right
No,
now.
that's okay. Jim, do you talk to your phone at all?
I'm also behind the curve. I don't talk to my phone at all, and I do have it set up
Yeah.
for voice activation. I very rarely, if ever, use it. I'm just not comfortable using it.
I've had some embarrassing situations because of using
I'm glad we can be
voice
transparent
to
here.
text or whatever, and I won't even go into those. It was extremely embarrassing with a text I sent to my daughter one time. I've always been, and I won't even go into the other scenario that happened to me one time because of it. But so I've been gun shy with it too. However, with that said, because I bought it, as you know, I have Amazon Alexa.
Right.
The Echo's all over my house. And I
He
use
brought
them at work.
Alexa in one day.
Right, right.
How fun.
And I like that technology, and it's been really good. So I've been, slowly working my way back to using voice activation on my phone in limited circumstances.
Well, it's
So-
interesting because in the privacy of your home, you can't get into too much trouble with
Right,
Alexa. But
right.
Siri can definitely interface you in the wrong way with
Oh,
another
yeah.
human being. It's
Absolutely.
a totally different thing.
I love when it reacts to something on television.
Alexa?
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you got a dozen flowers showing up, right, Jim?
Right, yeah.
I've had that happen too, where all of
Yeah.
a sudden Alexa just activates, and it's because something was said on TV or whatever, and all of a sudden I don't understand that, and you're like, But they had a commercial. I think you heard about this on Super Bowl, right? Amazon did,
Right.
And one of the things was Alexa, order a dozen roses for my wife or something like that, right? I forget how it was worded exactly, but Alexas across the country activated and bought flowers, because if you had it set up in your thing to buy flowers, it would just buy flowers and send them to whoever.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I'll give you another example. My wife and I watch Doctor Who on the BBC network.
Yep.
We're both basically geeks.
That's awesome.
And we're here with the Guru
Yeah,
of
that's
Geek.
right.
But they actually have a promo they run during the show where they actually have a voice saying, Siri, set up to record Doctor Who next Saturday evening on the BBC. And you just know that all over the country.
Yes.
All over the country, people with their series are actually, and they don't even know it.
Right.
And they got it
They're
set
just
up.
activated.
I like that.
That's
great.
clever, actually.
Well, I love
Yeah.
Doctor Who. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So yeah, I guess I'm slowly going back to it myself, and I probably, because the technology is going better all the time, I think we'll be doing more and more of that. So after the break, everybody, we'll continue our version of App Wars with our producer extraordinaire Jim Walsh and singer-songwriter, movie scout person. I have to understand your position better, I guess. But Anna Vance, thanks.
Right now, it's 85.
On Twitter, Facebook, online, and YouTube. SuperTalk1270.com.
Follow the Guru of Geek everywhere he goes. Post your comments or questions at thetechranch.com. Once again, your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we're all about App Wars today. Singer-songwriter.
Nothing but, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I
was
thought that
gonna
was my cue.
Singer-songwriter, producer extraordinaire Jim Walsh. There you go. You said you've had interest in writing songs in the past.
Well, I wrote a song parody that we used on the morning show down the hall here, the Gay
Really?
Wedding Polka.
The what?
We did that.
Which
The
polka?
Yeah, back when they legalized gay weddings,
Right.
I did the gay wedding polka.
I
Grab
can't-
your partner, Sally Forth, the gay wedding polka.
Wow.
Can't wait to
Wow.
hear that.
That's, yeah.
actually.
And of course, we have Anna Vance here. She is a singer-songwriter and movie scout. Or
Extraordinaire. Just
there you
leave
go.
it at
Yeah.
that.
Okay. A movie location scout extraordinaire. There we go.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. We'll get that down right. So we're having a version of App Wars, and we've been trying to outdo each other here. And I just throw out a topic, and hopefully they have apps that we can all use. So that's kind of how it works. So password management.
We talked about this last week
We
when
did, a little bit.
Nick was here.
Oh, yeah.
Sheriff Nick.
Yep. So password management, Anna, do you use anything?
Nope.
Okay. Your head. Use it. You remember all your passwords in your head.
Yeah, I'm pretty simple when it comes to passwords. I'm probably not protecting myself at all, and no, I don't use an app for that.
Okay. Jim?
Well, I will say generally I use the same app, same password for everything.
Okay.
But what I do change it periodically, like every couple of months. I have to anyway with my email here at work. They require you to do it, and I try to come up with some kind of phrase. I don't use a word per se, or a name of a dog or somebody's birthday. I come up with a phrase. I think the example we used a couple of weeks ago was just pull it out of a hat. JFK. I ask not what your country can do for you. ANWYC and so
Gotcha.
on.
Oh, that's
and
great.
then maybe at the end put some number like 61. That was the year he gave the address. Just stuff like that. You pull it out of a hat, but it's stuff that's easy to remember, and it's a lot less likely to be hacked in a hurry than if you just have the name of your dog or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
or your wife's middle name or whatever.
One of the things with passwords too is that if you put a couple words together or whatever, just throw in like a punctuation mark in there, or a number or two goes from you being hacked from a chance of 1 in 10 million to in the billions just by adding one or two more characters that are not letters
That's
in there.
good to know.
And
it's
since
easy.
a lot of them are case
specific
what's the word?
too,
Case specific too. Like I went for a walk with Diane last week. Well, the D in Diane should be capitalized,
Right.
And the I, of course, capitalized, and that way you can make it a little more specific.
Exactly.
A little tougher to crack.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. So there are some apps out there too. I use one called LastPass, LASTPASS, and it actually is a password manager, creates passwords for you that you don't even know. Then that's what's really unique about this. It'll create and all you need is a password to get into LastPass. So you create a password just to get into the password management, and then that creates passwords for all your other stuff. So it's kind of cool. The only thing that I don't like about it is that it's one password for you. I mean, if somebody were to break that password you have to manage all your other stuff, then they have access to everything. So I always warn people about that. Make sure you have a very secure password to use a password management tool. But if you can do that, then you're okay.
I think your life requires a lot more security than mine.
That may be true, but that's probably why, because password management to me is an insane proposition. It just is. It's just it's something I deal with on a daily basis, and it drives me nuts. And it's too bad that we live in a world right now where we have to protect ourselves online like we have to. But you have to. You just, if you don't, you think the problems you have with password management are big for you, right?
Yeah.
Imagine somebody stealing your bank account or whatever, and the issues that comes with it. So this is truly an ounce of preven, is a pound of cure, or however that's phrase goes. Thank you. It's Monday. So how about podcasts? Either one of you listen to podcasts?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So what do you use for a podcast app?
I have audible.com.
Okay.
So I listen to, I'm a big fan of books on tape.
Oh, nice.
I love them.
Okay.
Nice.
And every couple of months I get one or two new ones. It got to where it was actually filling up. I had to put them on the cloud because it was filling up.
Sure.
I had them on my pad, my old pad.
Okay.
And my pad got really slow all of a sudden. And it was because I was downloading all this stuff directly to the pad. So nowadays I put it on the cloud. Everything's fine.
Okay. Cool. Anna, anything?
No, you know what? I will take the mom route on this. I'm not typically able to listen to podcasts.
Okay.
I don't even watch television, believe it or not, because I'm just so busy being a mom. Yeah.
Okay.
I will say, too, because I'm a radio guy, I have all the apps for all the different radio companies, including the one for us.
Sure.
For Town Square Media, it's called Radio Pup.
Right.
It's a pretty good service, and there's a lot of Town Square stations. And there's stations from all different companies I listen to. A lot of stations, I have friends who work for these companies. And I like to hear what they're doing. I just like listening to radio stations.
Right. But I think the one challenge with Radio Pup, if there would be one,
Radio
would be that
Pup,
it's only for Town Square.
Yeah, most of
right?
most of the apps are like that. They're very specific.
Right.
Like iHeart has one specifically for them.
Exactly.
There's one or two other companies like that. Some radio stations have their own specific apps.
That's correct. Yep. So there's one called Pocket Cast. POCKETCAST. Pocket Cast. It's free. You can subscribe to anybody's podcast through there, and it brings it in, and then you can just listen to it anytime. So it's pretty clever. It's probably the most popular one in the world. So Pocket Cast, if you like to grab from different venues or whatever and bring them all into one space.
And, of course, there's a ton of stuff on YouTube. Dan Carlin, who's a great podcaster, he talks about history and current events. He puts a lot of his stuff on YouTube. It's kind of like a free sample thing.
Okay.
If you like what he's doing here, then you can subscribe to his service.
You bet.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's a good idea, actually. Tasks. Do you use your phones for doing tasks? Let's say, like when you approach your home, that your lights come on or anything along those lines.
Wow, no. I'm not using anything like that.
Okay, Jim?
I was thinking about, you mentioned the garage thing. I was thinking about that for this winter quite seriously.
Okay. So there's an app called Tasker. It's real similar to IFT. So IFT is IFTTT. You can go to IFTTT.com, and it stands for if this, then that. Mm-hmm. So if I drive home and I go past these GPS coordinates, then my garage door opens or my lights turn on.
Wow.
Okay, so you can do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Start your car.
You can start your car. That's correct, yeah. So there's an app called Tasker, 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 and it does similar things. And you can create NFC tags. You can have, if this app does this, this other app will do this. So if you're, if you want to tweet that you just arrived at work for the day, you could actually set it up to tweet that. And so I have one that every day or every Friday at 5 on my Twitter account that says, to all geeks everywhere, have a great weekend, right? Yeah. And it just does this.
That's
and I know
awesome.
you or your wife have actually liked that tweet occasionally. So
I think my wife has.
Okay.
It, yeah.
Right.
So
I wouldn't want to announce when I get to work. I like to sneak in on the radar.
Sure.
So don't tweet that out.
But I'm just
I'm frequently late.
I'm just saying that you can do these type of things in Tasker. There's all kinds of crazy things that you can do and monitor. You can probably, monitor and do all, like your home heating and cooling and all this other stuff through one app called Tasker. So I would check that out. So,
well, I want to set up mine for like a calendar day to day to tell me what's coming up on a given day.
Okay.
Because I'm terrible about that kind of stuff.
So I know we're coming up to the end of the show, and I wanted to get to WhatsApp. Now, I know you use WhatsApp, Anna,
I do
right?
use
Okay.
WhatsApp.
So tell me about WhatsApp.
So WhatsApp is a kind of a way to connect with people that can include group texting, and I also use this for making phone calls because quite often I'm working with folks internationally.
Okay.
And so it becomes terribly convenient as a way to just group together and text and above and beyond regular texting.
And free calls internationally
Yes.
through it? That's amazing.
Yeah.
So all right, everybody, we appreciate you joining us on the Tech Ranch. Anna, it was great having you here today.
Thank you.
Jim, it's a pleasure to
Likewise.
see you as always,
Yes,
and
sir.
everybody have a great week.